Traditional campaigns crash and burn during summer because voters completely tune out the typical political noise. Welcome to How to Run for Office and Get Away with It. Today's episode, Cruel, Cruel Summer. We're sweeping the ballot by sweeping the streets and using community cleanups to stay visible all summer. Plus, a look at Mayor LaGuardia's comic broadcasts. It's hot as hell. Let's get into it. Welcome to How to Run for Office and Get Away with It. I'm Scott.
And I'm Dee.
And we are here with episode 25.
How are you keeping track of them? You have it written down.
I have it written down.
Oh,
I keep notes.
pretty sneaky, sis.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I'm on top of things. And what are we talking about today, my dear?
What are we talking today? We're talking about Cruel, Cruel Summer. The summer slump that happens.
Insert Bananarama song here.
Listen, it's been stuck in my head. I love Bananarama.
It's a great song.
It's a great song. So we're just talking about the ways to turn summertime into a productive time during campaign season when nobody's paying attention.
We've done the last couple of episodes about all things summertime, whether it's going to festivals and fairs, whether it's getting out and doing some door knocking and protecting yourself from the summer heat and giving you tips on that. But there's really, I think summertime is a great time to take a break to some extent from active campaigning. And what we're talking about today is doing more passive campaigning, making sure that your name is still out there in a very positive way to keep that campaign rolling during the summertime.
Now, we talk about this. I think that it's important to note that there's still primaries that are happening. Like,
We are post-primary today. We are a day after primary today as we're recording.
yeah, as we're recording, which, you're going to hear this on Sunday. So
Yeah.
less than a week ago, we had the primaries in Alaska and California.
And we're still,
That.
we might be seeing a bit of history repeating itself in Alaska.
Yes. So a little bit of trivia for the How to Run for Office and Get Away with It fans out there. There is a lost pilot episode, one that you've never heard, on the same topic. We
Yeah,
got
that was in the archives.
It's in the archives, but in it, the history lesson happened to be really related to this Alaska situation with the Dan Sullivans.
Right.
And it reminds me, like, I had to go back and check to make sure, like, was this the history that we used for our first episode? But we didn't.
Yeah, we haven't talked about this yet. But
So-
this is Joe Kennedy.
Yeah, so Joe Kennedy, as in the father of John F. Kennedy, when John F. Kennedy was running for Senate, he was running against a man by the name of Joe Russo. And Joe Kennedy was worried that this guy had a big following. He was an Italian immigrant, and people in the Italian community really liked him. So he found another Joe Russo to run on the Republican ticket against that guy to confuse voters.
And that, I mean, we actually proved that he did that.
Like, he did that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, of course
and
he
it
did.
and it certainly didn't hurt.
And it put it put kind of a black mark on the campaign that Jack Kennedy genuinely won. Like, he wouldn't have won it without that happening. He would have won it without him, but
Right.
there you are. He did that.
Wasn't needed.
Wasn't needed, but he didn't.
Maybe not Joe Kennedy's best day.
He felt it was, I think.
He had a lot of good ideas, but that was not one of them.
I think that, the best way to describe him, I've heard you mention it prior, he was a little bit like Michael Jackson's dad,
Yeah, Joe
Yeah.
Jackson.
Joe Jackson. What is it about the
Dad's
Joes?
name Joe?
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
that's rough. Maybe a little too hardcore into his children's success.
Shout out there to any dad named Joe. I'm sure you're a decent human being. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's going on. That's been a little comical thing.
Yeah, so Dan, what was his name? Dan Johnson?
Dan Sullivan.
Dan Sullivan.
There's two Dan Sullivans.
Dan Sullivan won in Alaska.
Right. But we knew Dan Sullivan was going to win the Republican primary in Alaska. The question was, what was his middle name? Was
Right.
it Joe?
And I think it ended up being the incumbent.
Yeah.
Dan Sullivan that won.
Yeah, it was
So
Dan.
whatever crap they were trying to pull didn't work.
It didn't work. It was if somebody was trying to do that. There's been a lot of questions.
If they are.
There's been a lot of questions if that happened. And you never know. Coincidences happen every day. Dan Sullivan is not exactly an uncommon name.
It is not.
So,
Yeah.
and it's Alaska. I mean,
Yeah, not that it really matters.
they're probably related in some way. It's not exactly a high population state.
No, it's not.
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Maybe they're long lost brothers.
I mean, not long lost brothers,
You
but
know,
maybe
you hear
third cousins or
you hear those
something.
stories about twins who are separated at birth and they end up being adopted by different families and given the same name and
living mirrored lives.
living mirrored lives.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
I don't think that happened
You
here.
don't think so?
This is like a third or fourth cousin situation if they're related. They don't look alike or anything, but it's Alaska.
There's Irish in Alaska.
I mean, yeah, gold rush and whatnot.
Oh, sure.
There's a really good show. It was an Irish television show that I would watch on their Irish public television. A drama, and it was excellent. And it was about the gold rush and Irish brothers.
There is not a podcast around that is hosted by somebody who watches Irish television.
Well, not a lot of people speak Irish.
No.
And so
There's only about, a couple 100,000, I think, in Ireland now.
who are primary Irish
primary
speakers,
Irish speakers, yeah.
but everybody takes it in
Right.
school. So
But you started learning it because you felt like it was a dying language, and it is.
yeah, I'd read a thing
In your heritage, you are of Irish descent.
somewhere. I'm the most
Sure.
American that ever
Of
Americaned.
course.
Like going back, we beat the Mayflower here. We ran away from Europe as soon as we were given the opportunity. So we were like, no.
Yeah, we just left when the potatoes ran out.
Yeah. Well, some of your family did. They got here a little earlier than that too.
Yeah, 1850s. Yeah.
Yeah. So I happened to have been reading the Irish Times online, and it was discussing that Irish had become an endangered language and that they didn't have as many native speakers and that people were losing it. So I thought, well, I wanted to learn another language. I wanted to learn a third language. So
Right.
I decided to jump into that. And at the same time, our son was being born. So I went ahead and taught him too because it builds those synapses.
Sure.
And now he speaks 3 languages as well.
He says 4. He says he can speak 4.
What's the fourth?
I think he knows how to say one word.
That doesn't
in
count.
Japanese. I think he figures
If he can say one word,
konnichiwa. I think he knows konnichiwa, so he speaks Japanese.
that does not count.
Yeah.
We should tell him that. So anyway, yeah, and they actually, in order to encourage the Irish culture, keeping the language alive, all government documents in Ireland are required to be written in both Irish and English. All school children are required to take a certain number of years of Irish as a language in school. And all public servants, police officers, bureaucrats, everyone is required to be fluent to a certain proficiency in Irish. And if somebody speaks to them in Irish, they must speak back in Irish until that person speaks English or indicates that they would like to switch to a different language.
Yeah.
But they are all required to speak Irish and be available to Irish speakers on demand.
I think we all just need babelfish.
When you babelfish, yes.
Yes, from the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, you
Yes.
just drop them in your ear and they translate every language for you. And I think that should work with accents too.
Accents.
We watch a lot of British television.
I don't have trouble with it.
I have problems sometimes understanding.
A lot of people do. I don't have trouble with it. I don't know if it's because of the East Coast. There's like 15 different dialects of English on the East Coast.
Sure.
So the whole Eastern Seaboard has an interesting relationship with the letter O. So
And it changes, every
dramatically.
30 miles or so as you travel.
It is just like when my natural accent comes out, it is. I mean, I never get rid of it fully, but when the O's come out, and yeah, it gets special up in New England. It gets special down in the Carolinas. Babelfish would help you.
Yes, I think it would.
Just for the O's. Finn asked me the other day about 42. He'd seen it or heard it somewhere about being the meaning of life.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Hitchhiker's Guide.
Yes.
Um,
It's a great 5-book trilogy.
It's a single book. It's a 5-book trilogy.
There's a series of books, and there are 5 of them in the trilogy, according to Douglas Adams.
Douglas Adams calls it a 5-book trilogy?
Yes.
Specifically that?
Yes, I believe he does.
That is very Douglas Adams.
Yes, it is.
My apologies. I just wanted to clarify. Yes. So we're getting back to school here in Kentucky. For the rest of the country, I feel like nobody else has gone back to school. But here,
We are slowly wrapping up the summer.
I do not understand why they go back to school so early here. What happened to like Labor Day to Memorial Day?
I don't know.
When I was growing up, you went back to school like the first week of September.
I think we started later than this, but we also didn't have a fall break.
Yeah, they have a fall break,
Right.
and we didn't have a fall break.
I think the problem is that teachers get bored over the summer and they're anxious to get back to work.
I don't think that's their problem.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
I'm sure that they would love to have the month of August to plan and be in that building in the cool weather.
Yeah.
Without all those bodies there heating it up.
Yeah.
So we better get started on this episode, because by the time we get to it with all this jibber jabbering, we are going to not be summer anymore.
We're going to be talking into January here.
Right? So
All right. Well, let's start off by telling people a little bit about our sponsor.
our sponsor, who's that? I bet we're going to hear right now.
We are. Running for office can be overwhelming, especially when you don't know where to begin. Be Political helps people just like you run for political office with the confidence of having a seasoned campaign manager. With Be Political, you'll find the professional advice you've been looking for, along with guidance and tools you can't find anywhere else. We'll help you stay organized and guide you in making important decisions about your campaign, from learning how to secure that big donor to choosing your campaign color scheme. Be Political is here for you. It's hard to know where to begin when you want to run. Start here. Be Political will show you the way. For all your campaign needs, go to bepoliticalllc.com. And now back to the show.
Okay. And now,
Cruel, cruel summer.
so we are turning the summer slump into some strategic sunshine for the campaign.
Yeah.
Um,
What is a summer slump?
a lot of times in the summertime, you have just a total disengagement from politics. Even though you may still have primaries going on, people are disconnected. from
Yeah, I
that.
mean,
They're
check
taking,
local listings.
they're taking a mental vacation if they're not taking a physical vacation
Yeah.
in the summertime. Kids are out of school, sports are happening, community events are happening, people are planning, they're going out of town, they're running in and out of the house. There's, all of these things that are outside of their normal routine, their normal schedule. And people don't have the bandwidth for politics.
I mean, but this applies to you if your primary is in spring.
Correct. Especially
but,
applies for
I
spring.
mean, as we mentioned before, there's a lot of states that are still having their primaries this week.
Right.
And I think there's even some a little later. So for some, summertime means active campaigning and doing all of those late campaign period activities. But if you're lucky enough to have an early primary and the summertime is coming up and you're looking for ways to keep your campaign momentum going without going out and actively rounding up people and that type of thing, this is what we're talking about.
And for most of you, that's the case, because I think by the time we finish out July, only 13 states haven't had their primary.
Right.
So for most of you all, the primary is going to be probably before the end of June.
Sure.
So
As
how
it
do
should be.
how do you do that? How do you?
I have a problem with late primaries like this.
Well, I grew up in a state that had primaries in September, but they moved them back. They
Sure.
changed their primaries. Anyway, so what this does is it takes politics, it makes it positive, it puts you in the community, it makes sure that you're campaigning in a way where you're staying in touch with the community, and meeting them where they are. So, what we're talking about today is shifting from the political rhetoric that you have been engaging in the spring during your primary season. You're shifting that to positive community action and human centered social content during that peak fatigue.
Yeah.
So, by human oriented social content, obviously, I'm talking about your internet footprint. How are you putting yourself out there? And this allows you to generate content for those things so that you are seen still actively working and campaigning, but it's not that political rhetoric that people are wanting to tune out. You're not out there talking about your opponent or policy necessarily.
So post primary in the summertime, you're still campaigning. It's a different type of campaigning.
Yes.
It's not actively talking politics necessarily or talking about your opponent or policies and reaching out and asking specifically for votes. It's a time to take stock of where you are in your campaign
Hmm?
and get yourself out there doing things in the community and creating that positive image.
It's a different type of active campaigning. So it's still active campaigning. It's still talking about those things, but sort of in a roundabout way.
Okay.
You're not shoving those things in people's faces like you were earlier on, or way you felt rather. You weren't repeating those things. So now you're sort of looking at the same things from a different angle. You're looking at it in practice and action. So the reason why you have to shift that, the reason why you have to change is because during July and August, voters are actively tuning out political noise. They just are. They're done with it for the moment. And like I said, they're dealing with vacation and popping in and out. They've got heat fatigue. It's hot. Oh my gosh. People are just cranky when it's hot. They don't want to hear about all that. Oh my God, would you be quiet? All you're doing is talking about I've heard this commercial 15 times. I hate you. So mentally, as a society, for the most part, people just aren't engaged in that type of civic behavior. Um, so by transitioning from asking for votes to showing up in the community, you're meeting them where they are in that positive, sunshiny sort of thing.
Sure.
Um, you're meeting them where they are mentally and physically because the summer is when people get out there and do stuff. That's when they're doing community service. That's when they're engaged in cultural events. They don't have the bandwidth to take in more information. So you're transitioning from that. Here's my policies. One more thing for you to think about. And you're using th- that law in voter attention to build a broad, nonpartisan sort of organic goodwill that carries you through November. You're giving people the opportunity to see those sort of how you spent your summer vacation pictures, but what they're seeing is you active in the community. They're seeing you doing these things. So we're going to talk about those different things that we want to put out there. One of the first being is having a campaign that uses the summer for service over self and community oriented action.
Right.
So the concept there with that is action speaks louder than a yard sign, 100%. I'll say that 1,000 times. You want to show voters that you care, genuinely care.
Right.
You're not running for your name. You're running because you care about the community, even when there isn't an election happening tomorrow. So putting yourself out there in that way really helps people see, okay, well, we're all busy. There's a subconscious to it. But we're all busy and they're out there doing this community stuff, you know, they must really care about the community. And of course, your detractors are going to say, oh, they're only working in the community because it looks good in campaigns. And
Okay. Well, at least
okay,
you're doing something.
well, yeah,
It can look good in the campaign and make the park look good at the same time.
there you go.
What's the problem with that?
How's your campaign contributing?
Sure.
Right. So, couple of actionable project ideas here for that, just to give you some examples of ways that you can do that.
These are great things to do, and most of them are low to no cost to your campaign other than getting volunteers to help you.
And be mad about these things, right? Be mad about them. I dare
Yeah.
you. One, Organizing a team trash pickup at local parks the morning after major events. Post-holiday cleanup
Yeah.
is such a underappreciated thing to do. Um, but cleaning up after a parade or helping clean up after a parade, your volunteers working to do that, you volunteering to do that, it's an act of humility, it's an act of service. It shows that you don't leave things a mess, you care about your community. It's it's a simple thing to do.
And you're supporting your city workers or your county workers who are assigned to do that type of job. Getting out there and getting your hands dirty is a great way to support your community.
And it shows that you're willing to go out there and get your hands dirty. You're not doing anything that you wouldn't ask somebody else to do in the community.
And it is a great photo op.
Um,
Let's be honest.
yeah, absolutely. Two, here's another one. Heat wave relief. Setting up cooling stations, misting tents, free water tables for things like youth sports tournaments,
Yeah.
5K events that are happening in the community, busy local parks. A lot of our inner cities don't have in walking distance for some families to any kind of splash pad or access to cooling water. Setting
Right.
up a misting tent where you have a permit to in those areas attracts people instantly. Man, that's a great way to draw people to you. So,
Absolutely.
and it's a great way to serve the community. Um, Here's another one. This one's very popular. Back to school summer drives, hosting donation drives for school supplies, food banks, summer youth programs, anything where you have the ability to provide for kids in your community so that nobody misses an opportunity.
Right. And all you're doing in that is you're acting as the hub and the coordinator of these donations. This is not something that your campaign necessarily has to spend a lot of money on, but you can provide the labor, provide the coordination for it.
So, I mean, there's three great ideas right there. Doesn't take a lot of time to organize, doesn't take a lot of effort. Um, Probably the hardest one out of that is going to be the heat wave station.
Because you got to be out in the heat.
And well, no, because you have to get the supplies
You
for
have to
it.
get water or whatever.
You have to have the
Sure.
supplies, and you might have to get a permit.
Right.
But if you have the resources for it and your community will allow it, that's a great one. And all of these, you get the idea of how
Yeah.
you can serve your community, provide a service that's needed, and have a photo op doing it. But the great thing about why this works in summertime, it generates massive authentic visibility.
Oh, yeah.
Voters notice who's actually sweating, who's actually rolling up sleeves to fix the community.
Right.
So,
And who's just sitting back popping mailers in the post office.
right, exactly.
Yeah. This is also something you've got to preface doing all of these things with preparing your social media posts and press releases and things of that nature to make sure that you're getting not only the attention for it, but that you're getting more and more people involved in it.
Yeah, because if nobody's actually seeing you do it,
It's no longer a campaign event at that point. It's just you doing good things. And
which
there's
is
not, no,
great,
not there's nothing wrong with that.
but you're running for office,
That's what we're talking about.
and that's what we're talking about. So, you know, speaking of social media,
Yes.
um, during the high heat days, we want to ditch the policy white papers and the stuffy stuff for social media.
Same idea. We want to stop pushing all of the policy stuff and
You
start pushing the community stuff.
Right. You want it to still focus on policy, but you want to slip it in there, right? You want to be like, hey, not we walk the walk when we talk about a city recycling program. My campaign's out here today gathering up this highway and, taking the trash to the recycling, whatever.
We're handing out water bottles at this park because it doesn't have any working water fountains.
This is your opportunity not only to choose things
Sure.
that you want to choose things that fit your messaging, that give you the opportunity to put your messaging out there. So,
But you're also taking the opportunity to you're out doing something because there is a need
right,
and you want to bring attention to that need.
right.
At the same time, you're bringing attention to the fact that you're serving that need. But
Exactly.
there is still that need in the community, and that is a newsworthy event.
And you can then talk about while you're addressing that need within the community, how we make this not a need in the community
Sure.
anymore. We're out here doing this now because somebody needs to. But when you send me to here or when I am in this office, we won't need people to volunteer for this because my solution for that is this. In the meantime, somebody has to do it. Might as well be us.
There you go.
That sort of thing. So you're switching to that. You're not doing the heavy stuff. You want a summertime community cultural feel to your
Yeah.
to your social media. So here's some things that I really stress you want to do when you're in the summertime and utilizing that social media for your messaging campaign.
Right.
Highlight local businesses. Go into local business. Make it like Candidate on the Road.
I love that idea.
Quick, fun videos of visiting the local ice cream stand, like our favorite down here,
Our ice cream shop that
our
we go
ice cream
to,
shop that we go
we
to.
talk to the owner all the time.
Farmers markets.
Yep.
Doing stuff at farmers markets, local diner counter spots, the local watering hole, wherever people it is gather together.
Things we've talked about doing in the past, but these are you refocus on doing those activities and make it more about highlighting those places and those businesses rather than
You
I'm
there.
I'm here.
You grace them with your presence.
And
Do
and
that.
it give you a chance to talk to local business owners and local people that go to these businesses.
Use it as a chance to highlight them. So interview the owner,
Yeah.
sample the food, right? Celebrate the local economy without a forced stump speech. Talk about how that particular business is a perfect example of something that you were talking about in the spring.
Sure.
So really bring the glory to that business, making them shine. You're going to get part of that glow, man.
Oh yeah.
That's the whole point.
And you're going to have a lot of gratitude from the business
Right.
because you're highlighting them, and hopefully that's bringing people to their business.
I will say this, vet your local businesses before you're out
Pick
there.
and choose a bit, yeah.
Make sure that they're exactly who you want to be highlighting. So, maybe use discretion,
Well, of
use
course.
common sense. And also maybe they really do not like or support you. You do not want to show up at their business and be like, "Hi, we want to talk about your business in my campaign." And then suddenly you're in some sort of altercation.
In any event, regardless, don't avoid going to businesses
No.
and interacting with the owners. Maybe that's not your social media feature, but you should still go and talk to people because they are still part of the community.
Yeah, you want to do that first before you just show up and start doing this.
Yeah.
Please do that. Uh, yes. So another fun thing to do with discretion and common sense, obviously, do behind the scenes and blooper stuff. Show the reality of summer campaigning. Sweating in a parade, ice cream melting, falling off the cone,
We should have
fun volunteer moments.
plenty
that
of
stuff.
behind the scenes kind of video and pictures from all your supporters at different events and things like that. Pick out some fun ones and show the hard work behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And all of the volunteerism and the support that's going on. It's not only a fun way to look at the campaign, but it also does show that you have that support and that you are working hard.
And that the people there, they're doing it. It's a labor of love. They're having fun with it because they genuinely care about what's happening. And they're having fun with it. Boy, that looks like fun.
Yeah.
I want to hang out with them. Can I go hang out with them?
I've seen that over the years. We've done a lot of community theater and acting and doing plays and such. And it's always amazing to me how hard everybody worked behind the scenes to make it look so effortless on stage. And that's kind of the way a campaign is. It should look effortless and look smooth, but there is a lot of activity behind the scenes, and that's really shows the hard work that goes into it.
And you can use that as an opportunity to highlight some of the volunteers during that time.
Sure.
Use it as
Yeah.
a spotlight for them. But, do both. Do that showing the behind the scenes service that takes place, the volunteers, but also do some of the blooper stuff. The combination of those two scenarios where you're seeing the behind the scenes and the fun and the bloopers, and you're seeing the passion and the hard work of that service spotlight. You're
Absolutely.
creating an atmosphere online of people that you want to be a part of and spend time with and be friends with.
Right.
And it's baked in. All you have to do is volunteer and you get to be one of the people doing this too.
I think something that we haven't really fully touched on in this podcast is a campaign has so many different sides to it.
Mhm.
There's so many different parts of the campaign. You have to show your knowledge and your professionalism and your background and your ability. You also want to show your personal side. You want to show your, to some extent, you want to show that you're a human being. You want to show that you're community involved. You want to show that you're goofy and that you make mistakes and that you recover from that and that things happen and but you're willing to work hard for it. This is just another aspect of showing all sides of you, and that's part of your campaign plan as you structure your messaging throughout your campaign plan. This is the time of year when you're showing things on the lighter side, the funner side, the more community engaged side. So it's just another aspect of the campaign, and we're taking the time to do that. It's really important.
It is because this is the human side.
Yes.
This is when we humanize you as a candidate. This is
Right.
when you become a real person for people that they can relate to. And
Yeah.
when you're relatable and your opponent is posting these rigid graphics, these, you know, zero reach or hateful things, and it's just garnering
Yeah.
nastiness.
And this is also the time that you ease up on any negative
Right.
messages about your opponent or about your opponent's party or something like that.
But when the juxtaposition of your opponent to these, rigid whatever
Yeah.
talking points is a warm and relatable content gallery, you know,
Sets you far above them.
you're winning that algorithm.
Yeah,
You're
you are.
winning that reach in social media. You're winning the reach to voters because they want to go back.
Especially the undecided voters at that point.
Exactly. That's not content that they want to mute.
Right.
They want to see that. They want to see the how many hours a day. Now listen, all you out there. How many hours a day are you spending sitting there looking at TikTok and Reels?
Way too many.
Are you sitting there listening to somebody give you the same talking points that you heard 5 other people give earlier in the day doing the same thing? Or do you wanna watch the videos where, a candidate steps in poop? Do you wanna see the video of and makes a joke about it and is a decent person and knows how to laugh at themselves?
Really depends on what kind of poop it is, I think.
Right, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, when you are able to show those moments and humanize yourself, that's people wanna come back to you and find out what else is going on this campaign trail. What else is happening?
Right.
This is interesting. This is fun. I wanna be a part of it. Whether it's I'm going to sit here and watch the antics as they come up on social media and enjoy that and have warm fuzzy feelings from afar,
Yeah.
or whether I'm inspired to get up and join that and be a part of it.
That's engagement. Either way, it's engagement.
And when you have those positive feelings and you have those that connection,
Yeah.
that's a voter.
And
That's a
you
person voting for you.
and use that engagement to reach out and ask the community what they're seeing in the area, what projects they think need some attention, what's important to them to better their community.
So, while we're here, I want to challenge you guys. Speaking of social media, as we tell you all, we have social media at How to Run Pod, pretty much any platform. Go find us at How to Run Pod. Um, and we want you identify one community service gap in your region, in your
Tell us
district.
the kind of challenges that your community's looking at.
Just identify one public service area, one gap in your district this month and, maybe schedule a team project about it. Or, if you're not getting a campaign up and running or what have you, volunteer for a community event and imagine you were running for office.
Yes.
Do that and pretend like think to yourself, okay, this is what I would want to say about that. This is how this would play out in my future campaign. This is what how I would roll this in. And start taking social media as if, you don't have to say I'm running for office. just start taking the social media of that behind the scenes, practice it a little.
Yeah, if you go back to some of our early episodes, this is kind of the pre-campaign activities that people should be doing. If you're thinking about running for office, maybe you're not running currently, but you're thinking about it in the future. Take this time to get involved in community events like that. Find candidates that you can support. Find your county party that you can participate in activities with them. But go into it with the mindset of, if I were running for office and I were involved in this is the kind of thing that I would uh, react to, or how I would respond, and how I would use that in the campaign.
It's basically your unaired pilot.
Sure.
You have an unaired pilot as a candidate. It's you getting active in the community and
It's
in
a
your
rehearsal.
head,
It's a rehearsal.
pretending you're a candidate. So
Yes.
that's what I want you to do.
That's a great opportunity for that.
Go out there, do it, get involved, see what you can do to fill a gap, a need in your community, make it happen.
And if you've never been involved in community activity or activism events like that, you have no idea what goes on behind it. You have no idea how to get volunteers for it, how to publicize it, and how things like that work. So, taking the time now to become involved in seeing the backstage stuff, it's just like volunteering for a campaign. You learn about how things work. In addition to listening to us.
You also learn how things shouldn't work or don't work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You learn. You definitely learn.
So
And
get
if
out
you
there.
and if you didn't want to learn, you wouldn't be listening to us.
That's right.
Yeah.
So now that we've talked about all of that,
Right.
all of the fun stuff, we're going to talk about the not so fun stuff,
Now the work part of it.
but it's making some of it fun.
It's important work to be done, and it's a great opportunity to do it.
When you're not doing the community volunteer summertime stuff, you want to be working on the internal infrastructure,
Sure.
the behind the scenes operations.
Get your house in order.
And so one of the first things that I suggest you start focusing on is your low stress volunteer laddering. And if you don't know what laddering is, when it comes to volunteer laddering, that is, hey, this is a person that is just a donor, or this is a person who's just, whenever there's an event, they always wear a button or they always stop by to say hi. So now you bring them in on, hey, they're just going to do door knocking once, or they're just going to work on door knocking. Well, now they're going to be a precinct captain. So it's called laddering because each time those folks, you identify them, you notice them, you see them eager in your campaign, you move them, you ease them into the next step to taking more responsibility, and you start shifting your people into the positions that you need them to in the fall. So ways that you do that is just using casual summer activities.
Have get-togethers.
Have get-togethers like ice cream socials or team pizza nights, and use that as an opportunity to onboard your new volunteers.
What better way to start off volunteering for a campaign than having just a get-together where you're not responsible for anything, you're just there getting to know people and hanging out and kind of getting used to each other.
You give them a rundown of what's going to be happening and how to volunteer, and that also allows you to, in a fun but polite way, set boundaries. Here's what we want volunteers to do. Here's what we don't want volunteers to do. People take that a lot better when they've got a piece of pizza in front of them. I don't know why, but they do. So pizza makes ideas sound better, I guess.
Sure.
But it makes it friendlier ideas.
And it's a much nicer environment if you're training precinct captains or other leadership type roles. It's a lot easier to talk to people and train them in that environment than when you're trying to also phone bank or organize door knocking or doing other events at the same time.
It's also a lot easier to get them to agree to be a precinct capture when the stress is not so much. You don't want to walk up to someone and say, hey, we need a precinct captain. Here's 50,000 things to do.
Right.
We'll train you how to do it as you go. You want to say to people, hey, we're going to need precinct captains and leaders.
Here's some pizza.
Here's some pizza and some ways that you can be a leader and how you're going to do that. And it's easy as all get out.
Yeah.
And when they have that advanced training, when they have that you know what to expect attitude going into it, then it's not so overwhelming for them, and things stay as organized as a campaign can stay.
And you're taking the opportunity to train the trainer. So these precinct captains are going to be training the other volunteers and directing them. So it's easier for you to train 6 people who can then go out and train 36 people
Exactly.
in that type of environment. Yeah.
Which allows you to reach all your volunteers and spending this time acclimating volunteers to how things work for the processes that you're setting up.
Yeah.
You've got, instead of just you or instead of just your core team that's trying to communicate that, now you've got volunteers who are schooled and proficient, more than proficient experts on what it is that you need them to do. And now they're telling 5 more people. You've got everybody well informed in this.
And then when D-Day comes, you've got people ready to roll out of the armored personnel carriers
And see, exactly. And see,
and storm the beach.
this is my analogy.
Some of them are not going to make it.
Labor Day is D-Day. Then like everything after that, September, October, that's your battle of the Bulge. Okay?
It's a long battle.
It's a long battle.
Get entrenched.
You are entrenched. It is nasty.
You're making small gains every day.
Election day is VE day.
Yes.
There's going to be a winner. There's going to be a loser. Someone's going home tired. Someone's going home dead in a bunker. I don't know how it's going down, but someone's elected and someone is not in charge anymore.
Hopefully you're ending up in the eagle's nest.
Yes, as the invader.
As the invader.
So I love a good World War II analogy. I was born a 60-year-old man. So really though, that is a great way to think of it. Labor Day is your D-Day. Everything between then and Election Day is basically Battle of the Bulge.
Right.
And Election Day, that you know who's won. So, besides training your volunteers and bringing in those volunteers and moving them into positions where they can take some of the responsibilities, you want to just kind of use this as an opportunity to just set up your regular organizational stuff that you may need to get back in line after the primary,
Right.
or shift over into your general
This
situations.
This is the second part of your campaign after the primary, so this requires some reorganization.
Right.
It's an opportunity to just sit and house clean and get your thoughts back in line and get your plan in line.
Because you've just
reset
found out who your opponent is.
Well, sure. You're going to
You may not have
reset. You're going to
known.
reset your messaging. You're going to reset your calendar, and reset your strategy.
So this is the best time to do that.
Yeah.
It also gives you a little bit more trial and error this is when you're doing the trial and error with your independents, with your swing voters. This is where you can try that plan, that messaging campaign. And if it's not sticking, you can make that shift. You can say, okay, this isn't a message that's resonating. We're going to shift that messaging. We're going to change how we're putting it out there and see what resonates and what doesn't.
Sure.
When you're done doing all of that, though, you need to remember you're not the only one who's experiencing a drought where nobody's paying attention.
Right.
So the next thing you want to be focused on during this time, feed the local news drought.
Right. Exactly.
You started to touch on this earlier, but fun fact, local print newspapers, community blogs, small town radio stations, they all suffer their own summer news slump.
Right.
Work together.
Yeah.
So how do you use that to your advantage? Again, everything that we're talking about, human interest press releases, a standard press release about policy positions that are getting ignored in July. People want to know, hey, it's July, I'm not paying attention, but only because they're supposed to be paying attention. Are you telling me they're not paying attention?
Right.
Who's ignoring this while I'm on vacation? Right? That's the response people have.
Sure.
A press release about a campaign team clearing 200 pounds of trash from a local creek on July 5th, it makes the local paper.
It should.
It does, especially if your campaign takes a picture of the local campaign team cleaning up the trash, writes the press release, and sends it to the newspaper.
Press releases are so underutilized in local campaigns.
Sure.
It's not even funny.
People don't know how to write them.
They don't know how to write them. They don't know why they should, and they feel weird letting the news know that there's news going on.
Listen, they've got like 3 people working at that local paper. They don't even have, they're working out of somebody's basement at this point. They've sold the presses. They're totally online. They want you to write them a press release, something that they can work with. They're trying to fill the space. So send it to them. They're
Yeah.
grateful. And if they're not, they'll ignore it. And oh no,
And what have you lost?
oh no,
Yeah.
right?
And hopefully you have more than one news agency or reporting method in your area. It
Yeah, you
might
might have a
maybe
larger
you
district.
might have a television station, a radio station, a newspaper, or a tremendous online presence through some group. Let everybody know.
Yep.
Let people know. The more the merrier that find out about this, because the more that that's going to get out, that you are the one doing good works, that you are taking um, this community need and filling it in a very nonpartisan way.
Yes. So when you're pitching it, when you're sending it to newspaper, television,
Yeah,
any of them, you actually want to frame your service projects as nonpartisan community news.
sure.
You send out a press announcement that says that Emily Wong's campaign is going to be putting together a parade cleanup after the 4th of July event. Anybody who wants to volunteer is welcome to go to your website and sign up to volunteer.
Absolutely.
And, your campaign is going to be there doing the work in the community. And
And that frames that news release not so much as a, hey, here's something good that I'm doing, but as an announcement and a request for volunteers.
so the news has a reason to
It
put it
is
out
news.
there.
It is news that they want people to know about.
And then, that also gets the news to say, hey, there's something where this is happening. We might want to show up and, it seems like people might be coming to this.
And maybe they don't go to the first one, but the second or the third one that you send your release
Or
about,
we,
they're gonna see a pattern developing there.
Lisa's the only candidate who's telling us that they're doing all of this community work and we're not getting this from anybody else.
Sure.
And this is a pretty good story. Let's go find out what they're doing. That is how that works.
This is a great strategy.
So make sure you're using their slump to help your slump. So make the announcement, and then after you've done it, send out the press release because maybe
Saying that you did it.
that is how you get them to come to the next event if they didn't come to this one. That's how you get them to send a reporter or staffer or something to come cover the next community event that you have because they didn't show up to that. Here's a press release and photos. It really would have been nice if we had our own photos on this, guys.
Yeah.
This was a pretty good story. Let's make sure we look for anything else that they send.
Your news agencies are actually working to provide news.
But
So
they don't always know that it's happening if you don't
exactly.
tell them in advance or if you don't tell them after it happened and they didn't see it.
And then tell them again.
Then tell them again. So, utilize their drought, people. Next thing, how you campaign fundraise during a summer slump if nobody's paying attention and they're using all their money for all of the little day trips and vacations and fast food while they're running to all the stuff.
Don't misunderstand when I say you're not doing active traditional campaigning during the summer. There are still aspects that you're doing, and you are always, always fundraising.
High dollar donations are on vacation
Yeah.
during summertime.
Just assume they take a trip. You're going to refocus your fundraising tactics a little bit different way.
And people aren't checking their email for your emails asking them to donate. And they do not want to hear your aggressive, panicky emails saying, we just need $100 more before the next deadline. They don't care. I need
That-
$100 more before I'm heading to the beach. Okay.
To the general public, there is not a deadline in this campaign. The deadline is election day, and that's still way off.
Yeah.
So they want something a little bit easier to digest at this point.
So you want to start doing the micro donor ask, setting things to autopilot, that sort of thing. So one of the ways that you do that, run lighthearted social media campaigns like buy the candidate a $5 iced coffee to keep them cool on the trail today.
Yeah. And you set up a $5 recurring donation.
So, you're shifting towards that model and you're making it fun. Pivot small dollar fundraising into direct project fundraising, like help raise $150 to buy 20 cases of bottled water for the youth soccer tournament.
Yeah. So summertime is a great time to kind of transform your campaign into a little bit more of a fun-based, community-based focus. It's not a time to take a break. You just do activities in different ways.
Right. You try to focus on where the community is and what the community has their mind on and gravitate towards that.
Sure.
Remember, people want to have fun and they want to see you be human. And they want to know that when they go places, there's going to be somebody that if they have a problem, it's like, "Hey, I wanted to talk to you."
It shows people that you are in touch with the needs of the community, and
Because
you're willing to put yourself out there to help fulfill those needs.
you know what the needs are because you are the community. You're part of the community. You're experiencing those needs in the community as well.
Exactly.
You're all in it together.
Just like our old friend Mayor LaGuardia.
Oh, yeah, our history.
We've got a great history lesson that ties into this from way back in 1945.
1945.
That's right. There was a lot going on that year.
Mayor LaGuardia was really going through it.
Yeah. So
Uh,
New York Mayor Vincent Gambino LaGuardia.
Vincent Gambino LaGuardia.
I don't know if that's his name.
That's not his
I
name.
don't think so.
Fiorello.
Fiorello LaGuardia.
Fiorello LaGuardia.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Named after the character in Wicked.
Is that it?
Yes.
So I've challenged everybody to go out and find one gap in their community service that a campaign can be involved in, provide in the community.
Yes.
Well, LaGuardia did that.
Absolutely.
So I think that, while this wasn't happening on the campaign trail, this was something that he did in office.
Yeah.
So it's July 1945.
Okay.
New York City is trapped in a brutal, sweltering heat wave. And at the same time, a massive newspaper strike hits the city.
Oh, no.
For over 2 weeks, millions of people are completely cut off from daily paper. Listen, I'm not okay with being cut off from the paper.
It's a very sensitive topic to you.
So I understand.
Yeah.
It's
And this
hot
is
when you can't get your
1945. This is like the height of newspapers.
Oh, yeah. This is like you didn't have CNN. You had the radio,
Right.
but you mostly got your news from newspapers because you got a morning paper and an evening paper.
At least 2 newspapers.
And then you listen to the news on the radio.
Right.
Right? So you got 2 newspapers a day, and you weren't getting updates any other way. You weren't getting news any other
And
way.
the newspaper provided stuff that radio didn't. So it provided a lot more articles,
More in depth.
more in depth. And one of the things that it provided was comics.
It provided
Right?
the Sunday comics. So the kids were being cut off from their Sunday comics during the strike.
And that's no good.
So, I mean, most of the time, I think we'd see a politician during a major city crisis like this. They'd take the time on the airwaves to argue policy, point
Sure.
fingers, complain about, the unions did this or, the opposition did that or drone on about negotiations. Fiorello LaGuardia said no. He understood something crucial about human nature in this. And I think that that's what's important. He knew that it was hot and frustrating, and kids were home for the summer and their mothers were exhausted. And he knew this because they were telling him this.
Right.
So he didn't talk politics. Instead, he sat down at the WNYC radio station, leaned right into the microphone, pulled out the Sunday paper, and started reading Dick Tracy and Little Orphan Annie live on the air.
Wow. Now, how was he able to get those comics if there was a newspaper strike?
The newspapers were being made. They weren't being delivered. They weren't being, so he was still able to get a paper.
See Newsies.
Right. So he didn't just read the words. He wasn't just like, okay, Dick Tracy says this. And no. He acted them all out. He did the voices, he made dramatic sound effects, and he described the action panels to hundreds of thousands of kids and families huddled around their living room radios across all 5 boroughs. So why does that matter with this, right?
Right.
Like, that's a great story. Isn't that cute? The mayor of New York City is doing Little Orphan Annie with, okay. It's because LaGuardia didn't ask for a single vote during that entire broadcast.
Right.
He didn't drop a single policy point. He simply looked at the community that was hot and tired and distracted, and he found a way to meet a human need with positive, memorable action.
Yes.
He became beloved in part because of this.
It was a very thoughtful thing for him to do.
And he understood that it wasn't just kids who were being affected by this. It was parents. These comics kept kids busy during the summertime.
Right.
They didn't have tablets and stuff like that.
No, they had their little Orphan Annie decoder ring.
They had their little Orphan Annie decoder ring. They had their comics that got delivered in the newspaper every
Right.
day. So, that one simple act, it was organic goodwill, and millions of dollars and political mailers could have never achieved that.
Yeah.
There's just you can't get that political goodwill anywhere else. It's just by doing the human kind good thing.
And LaGuardia was later reelected because of that?
Um, look,
No, I'm kidding.
LaGuardia later got an airport named after him because of that. So, as you head into the dog days of summer, remember LaGuardia, right? He was hot too, by the way. I mean, they didn't have air conditioners and stuff. I would not survive before air conditioners.
No, you would not.
But stop talking to your voters about politics in the summer when they're tuned out. Talk to them about politics, but talk to them about it in like the roundabout sort of way that we've been describing. Use this as an opportunity to find ways to be useful and to just be a good neighbor in your
Right.
community. It's going to make you a better representative in government because you know how to do this too.
It is going to earn more respect than any stump speech you can give.
And it's how you win in November.
That's right.
So learn from LaGuardia.
Learn from Be Political.
Yes, if you need help with any of these things, figuring out how to plan your summer, change your messaging, change your campaign strategy, that's why we have strategy sessions.
If you want to get more details on how to achieve some of these activities, how to identify things in your neighborhood, or any other aspect of your campaign, from full campaign management to branding and website design, we can offer all services that you need.
Yeah, it's one-on-one services, it's bespoke. And whatever it is that your campaign is looking for, that you're just not sure how to get it off the ground and get it started, that's why we're here.
That's right.
So get hold of us. Send us an email. We've got email ask@beepoliticalllc.com. You can hit us up on social media. Like I said, we have @HowToRunPod at just about every social media platform that's out there. Probably most active on the major ones, right?
Sure.
The Facebooks,
Oh, yeah.
the
Yeah.
Twitter. I'm still going to call it Twitter.
The Twitters.
The Twitters, Blue Sky, Threads,
Right.
a little bit of Instagram out
Keep
there.
your eye out for us. Look for us on social media. Contact us by email or leave us a message on the podcast as you listen to it.
And by the way, while we're speaking of sending us messages and things on the podcast, apparently you've got to send us in reviews and 5 stars. So guys, if you could hit likes, shares,
Like and subscribe and share and do all those
subscribe,
kind of
share,
things so that we
like
can keep doing this for you.
all the stars, give us a review. I mean, tell us something. Apparently they move us up in things if we, right? And, we're just trying to get this out there so other people can be helped, just like you.
Exactly.
Just like you.
If you can't give us 5 stars, let us know why.
And you know what? I will give you a bonus points. You can serve your community
That's right.
by sharing our podcast.
There you go.
You can help out other people running for office trying to make this community better.
That's what we're about. That's all we want to do. So as we're wrapping up summer here over the next couple of weeks, I think we have one more summer-themed episode to do.
I think we are looking at the summertime barbecue and how to use it to your advantage in the summer.
How to turn your backyard barbecue into a successful campaign event.
Or how to turn all of your friends' backyard barbecues into
There you go. That's even better.
That's the one we're going for.
So everybody stay cool out there. Until next time, this is Scott.
I'm B. Let's get ready to run.